Good morning, everybody. I'm just waiting to get everybody on. Oh, I'm on. Okay. So we're good to rock and roll this morning. Okay. So first off, I'm going to take a little minute and apologize. Electronics and me were not getting along yesterday at all. I tried to do this on my computer, and my computer was telling me that I didn't have the right connections and the right permissions and all of that. So it took me a long time to get that figured out. Got that figured out. And then I tried to do the second thing and do it on my phone, but it wouldn't let me do it on my phone because I was having issues with my phone as well. So after I got the phone company on my cell phone company, got off the phone with that, I was just like, this has been a day. So we're back. We're back today. I said, no matter what, I was going to come live today, even if I had to do each one of these like absolutely individual, that kind of thing. So anyway, my thing today is money. And here's just three things. I'm going to give you three things to think about if you're trying to decide. Okay. So, and these are things that my husband and I have talked about. We have, my oldest is in college, and my youngest is, in high school yet, but here in 3 years, are we going to need, we have going to need this. Do we want to keep this up? That kind of stuff. So I know it's a conversation for a lot of people. And that's why I kind of wanted to touch on this conversation that we all have, even if it's in passing or if we just talk about it. My husband and I like to do a ton of things with our horses. So, I mean, I can, traveling a lot more since we don't have the kids. Now we kind of do our travels around the kids, and we may do that a little bit more too as they get older, and on us wanting to downsize and not have as much, because we won't have as many horses here. We won't need, we won't need to have this kind of space. I don't want to, right now it's great and I can keep up on it, but I don't want to clean this big of a house. A 4-bedroom house on a gravel road, just clean that. Okay. And as I get older, I think I want more freedom to go do these things with my kids as I can, and not have so much up things that have gone through that my husband and I have had conversations about. Okay. So I just want to throw these out there because these are things that we have talked about, as well. We have also talked about with other people. So first thing, right now, if you're thinking about downsizing and it comes down to money, what's our outgoing, what's our income, that kind of thing. If you downsize, you can sell a few of your things that you don't want to keep. And then you can just put that for maybe a trip, or for maybe something else that you want to do, or put it towards your retirement, or, whatever you want to do, have something in savings, or just put it away for a rainy day, go on this vacation or that vacation, or, do whatever. Okay. But you can sell some of your stuff, and then you can keep the stuff that maybe you want to give away, or give to your keen stuff to you, but you have full control over that. So it's your money, you sell it, you get it back. Let's face it, as the kids start going, crock pot meals get less, because we don't eat the leftovers like we used to, So, there's that kind of thing. Do you need to have 20 crock family dinner that you have, or 2 family dinners that you might have a year, depending on how much your kids come home, or how much, you have for, you may be entertaining your thing, and that's fine. The crock pot meals have kind of come to be less. I don't make them as full. I still use my big crock pot, but I don't make them as full. So there's just things like that you can sell, give away, donate, whatever it might be, because you don't need all of that stuff. And then that's just extra cash in the bank for you and less to clean out later. Who's to say that it's not okay to have empty cupboards? I have a few empty shelves in my kitchen after my remodel, and I'm totally okay with that, right? That's just the way it is, right? The other thing is, the kids who stay here, And like if you're in between like I am, so my kids are really out of the house yet. The older they get, is they get significant others, and it's the way of life, right? So the amount of time that they're here, we could live a little more on time that we are here. But as you live in a place, you just a lot of times accumulate more stuff. It's just the way of the land. People give you things, you buy things that you think you need a few times, and then you don't use them after that, right? So this is a good way, if you're thinking about downsizing, again, you can get rid of the things that you don't really have to make that choice. So you're taking that burden away from your children if and when something does happen to you, okay? Even if it happens just suddenly, if and when something does happen, you take that away and they have less to deal with, okay? And then they don't have to decide if it was something you wanted to pass along to somebody or something that you wanted to sell or any of that. It's done, okay? Here's the other thing. Here's the biggest one. And this is the biggest one that my husband and I have talked about personally, is less overhead. If we don't need all of this space and we have less overhead, less, and it can even be like less electric that we are going to use to maintain this property, less upkeep on the property, because it's not, if we would go to a smaller, like we live in a smaller house, less, there'd just be less upkeep, less overhead, less, there's just less. So smaller mortgage equals smaller mortgage payment if you still need to make payments, so there's no downsizing only when you're getting ready to retire. I think 2020 proved that to all of us pretty well. The amount of closets that were cleaned in 2020 work was amazing. A lot of people purged stuff. It was astronomical. You'd be surprised the amount of people that clean closets. Okay. So to us, you don't have to wait until, you are retired to downsize. You can downsize at any time. Maybe you're down to one child in the house or a 5-bedroom house or whatever it may be, and you just want to downsize to something smaller, more quaint. Maybe that's what you're going to do. You don't have to wait, that kind of thing. But it's just mathematically the way it is. Less overhead, smaller place, smaller mortgage, less overhead, less expense to heat, less expense for electricity, less expense for upkeep because it's smaller. So a smaller price. So then a smaller mortgage payment if you're in that situation. Okay. If you're not close to having it paid off or don't have it paid off, then maybe that's your situation. Maybe, because some people are here, maybe the equity that you have built in your larger home will give you enough to have your new home. If you've got $100,000 in equity in your home and you buy a property that is less than the current property that you have, you could pay for it outright. If you think about that. Okay. So equity in your home will give you a nice down payment on a new home. Maybe it'll give you a nice down payment on a smaller home that you can just, pay, maybe put it on a super quick, so you have it paid off maybe when you retire, if you're in that scenario. It just kind of depends on where you are at in your stage of life. Okay. And then if you save more, you have, if you don't have all this overhead here and all this expenses, then you save more at the end of the month. Maybe you can sock more into retirement. Maybe you can take that trip. Maybe your cash flow will be better. Things financially that you can look at. Okay, as far as like money and downsizing. Now, there is a lot of emotion, which I will cover that at another time, just because I think that that needs to be also addressed, especially like for me. We want to go do things, we want to downsize, but there is an emotional attachment here because we've done a lot of work to this place. We've done a lot of work pretty much, and this is home to them. It's home to us. So, but that's not saying that home isn't where I hang my hat. I mean, it is. Home is where I make it my home, right? So, and then the other thing, this isn't really money driven, but it's just less work. Times where it takes all of us to take care of this whole thing. And my husband and I are very fortunate. We're both in very good health, and we have ourselves without the kids here. Okay. But here's the thing is there are times when it's like, and derecho drove that home big time. Out of town a lot for work. And and he was out of town when the derecho happened. And I'm not going to lie, without my boys here that day, devastated. I just would have been totally devastated. Am I a strong enough person to take care of it? Absolutely. I would have figured it out. But at the same time, it would have been a lot. And then we actually went and helped other people at that point. And because we were to a standstill. Okay. So, and it gave us that opportunity as well. But, I'm not going to lie, the derecho put a lot of things in perspective, and that's why it was downsizing, as the kids get older and get out of the house. So less work. Everybody likes to have a little less work and a lot more free time to do things that they love. And why wait until you can't anymore to do any of that? So anyway, these are some thoughts that we have been talking about. I am kind of an in-betweener. I still have kids, but yet my parents are getting older. So it's things that I've thought about for them and that kind of stuff. When do you downsize, right? So, if you like this video, I hope you do. We're going to draw for have a one-on-one with me. We're going to draw for that the middle of October. Okay. And this can be real estate advice. It can be, that's what this one-on-one is. I can kind of coach you through, what you need to do to sell a home, what you need to do to buy a home, whatever that might be. I can kind of coach you through that. Talk about personal, maybe you got a personal something and you just don't know what to do. It's very confident with me. So us as realtors, we have to abide, just like the lawyers and that kind of stuff. So, if that's something that I would love to get a lot of entries for it. So go ahead and like and comment on this thing on YouTube or Instagram, like and comment on those. I'm not going to use the spam one. So you can spam me all you like, but I'm not going to accept yours as an entry if I know it's spam on those. And then we'll draw for that the middle of October. And if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the and then you'll get notified when I'm on here every time that I'm on YouTube. And also same with Facebook. It just kind of depends when I follow. You'll get notified when I'm on here live. And then I believe on Facebook anymore, it pops up if you're watching somebody live. It pops up, do you want to get notification? And you can click yes. So both places. If you're on let me back up. If you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube or on Instagram and you'd like more of this kind of information, go ahead and pop on to my Mom Self-Discovery, Women Writing a New Chapter, which I don't know if it's going to stay that name. We're working on a different name right now, but pop over there. There is a link of that in the description. Pop over there. We're going to start talking more and more about this kind of stuff all the time and getting people's input and that kind of thing. So go ahead and pop over there and go ahead and ask to join, and we'll get you in there. And then if you need any of the links, those are in the description. Okay. So anyway, I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. And hopefully my technical difficulty is an ongoing thing. So anyway, talk to y'all soon.